Costa Mesa 911.
There's a body in my son's apartment.
There's a what?
A body, a dead body.
A dead body?
On May 21st, 2010, a young woman was tracked down killed in the condo of 26-year-old Army veteran Sam Herr. At the point when Sam's dad found the frightful scene, they frantically dialed 911.
Then I walked into the bedroom, and that's when I saw a body, a large amount of blood. I immediately called 911.
However, Sam was not in sight. Who was that woman, and what has been going on with her? Was Sam on the run after killing her? Welcome back to Friday 13 Crime Stories, where we cover solved, unsolved, and twisted cases from across the globe. Today we're looking at another case with the most tragic twist you've heard. Let's take a deep dive into this mystery without further ado. Found somewhere between Los Angeles and San Diego, Costa Mesa, California, lies on the Pacific coastal area. It's an easygoing oceanside, sunny region. Nobody guessed that this wonderful spot would be where Julie Kibuishi would meet her terrible end. Sam Herr's parents, Steven and Raquel Herr, became concerned when they hadn't heard from their child in some time. Sam should go to his parents' house that end of the week, however he won't ever appear. On May 22, 2010, Steven went to Sam's apartment alongside his wife. There, a terrible scene was looking for them. Terrified, he promptly dialed 911. In this panic call, Steve cautioned the police that there was a dead woman lying face down in his son's apartment with some of her clothes ripped off and blood coming down from her forehead.
Costa Mesa 911.
There's a body in my son's apartment.
There's a what?
A body, a dead body.
A dead body?
Except there's been some sexual activity. She's dead. There's blood from her head.
There was blood from her head?
Yeah. Honey, I don't know what to say.
Do you know where your son is?
No, I don't.
In any case, Sam was nowhere in sight. The episode came as a shock for the Costa Mesa community, where murders are extremely rare. At the point when police arrived at the condo, they found no signs that a battle had occurred.
Immediately as you walk in, you could tell it was a bachelor-type apartment. It was a clean apartment. There was no signs that there may have been a struggle or maybe a fight that had gone on.
The apartment seemed to be filled with items you'd find in a typical bachelor pad. Empty beer bottles, burned cigarettes, a porch grill. However, it looked moderately perfect and flawless. That is, until they entered the room.
Then the bedroom, which begins to look a little suspicious. On the bedside table, there's an unused knife, and there's a couple of books. One of them, a combat how-to. Another, the wonders of sex. But then when you turn to the bed, a horrendous sight.
The bed was soaked red from the casualty's blood. The deceased woman was lying partially on the bed, and to partially kneeling on the ground. Her jeans were pulled down, uncovering the lower part of her body. From its vibes, detectives presumed that she could have been sexually assaulted before her death. She died from 2 gunshot wounds to her head.
She had 1 gunshot wound, kind of top center of the head.
There was likewise a knife on the bedside table, yet it gave off an impression of being unused. Unusually, she was wearing a tiara, and scrawled on the back of her sweater were the words "all yours." Her bag was in the kitchen. From her driver's permit, detectives identified the casualty as 23-year-old Julie Kibuishi. Julie Kibuishi was brought into the world on Valentine's Day 1987 to Japanese-American parents Jun and Masa Kibuishi. She was the third of 4 kids and their first daughter. She'd constantly been alluded to as my Valentine girl by her parents. From an extremely youthful age, Julie took a distinct fascination with dance and music. Her mom said Julie began tap moving when she was only 5, and that enthusiasm just developed throughout the long term. As per her loved ones, she was a delight to be near. Her goofy and bubbly character made everybody laugh. Besides the fact that she oozed energy, but she often bent over background to help a friend in need. On one hand, she regarded her Japanese culture, yet on the other, she was a unique, all-American young lady. Subsequent to graduating secondary school from the Orange County School of Arts, Julie proceeded to concentrate on fashion design at Orange Coast Community College. Here she met 26 years of age Sam Herr, and the two turned out to be close. She additionally coached him in anthropology. She didn't realize that her generosity would cost her life. Subsequent to scouring through the crime location, detectives attempted to sort out what has been going on with this brilliant and lovely young lady. All signs highlighted Sam being her killer. It was, all things considered, his apartment that she was viewed as in. What's more, presently, he was mysteriously absent. It was the ideal opportunity for investigators to investigate Sam Herr. Samuel Herr was brought into the world on May 29, 1983 to parents Steven and Raquel Kalberman in Los Angeles, California. As the only child to his special education teacher father and housewife mother, Sam was hovered over. He was always near his parents, visiting them frequently, even after he'd moved away. In spite of the fact that Sam's actual height was big and strong, his friends depicted him as a big teddy bear. He was a carefree and nice person. Quite early on, Sam had enrolled in the U.S. Armed Force and served a deployment in Afghanistan. What's more, in Germany with 173rd Airborne. Following 3 years, he was released and gotten back to Southern California, where he was brought up to go to college on the GI Bill. He needed to complete college and afterward rejoin up with the military as an officer. In view of that objective, Sam Herr enlisted himself in Orange Coast Junior College, where he shaped a companionship with Julie, who was 3 years more youthful than him. However, very much like many war heroes, Sam created PTSD from the 3 years he served in the military. Had he some way or another snapped and committed the crime in a moment of passion? As Sam was mysteriously absent, analysts presumed that he was undoubtedly on the pursuit, killing Julie in his own apartment. The doubt possibly developed further when they found instant messages on Julie's telephone from Sam's number. At around 2:45 p.m. on May 21, 2010, Sam sent her a message saying he planned to help a friend and afterward head out to go to his parents' house. Notwithstanding, only 2 hours after the fact, his tone changed when he sent her several messages imploring her to come to his place. From the tone of the messages, Sam appeared to be a man in a difficult situation. He was plainly agitated about something. As a concerned friend, Julie consented to meet Sam. She said she'd be there to him like a family. While Sam's family was astounded by the discoveries and stressed that his life was at serious risk, these texts made him look more blameworthy to the investigators. It showed that planned for her to come over. Moreover, Sam's vehicle and his identification were likewise absent from the apartment, persuading investigators to think that Sam was presumably on the run.
His passport was missing. His car was missing. I'm looking at everything going, come on guys, this is obvious. You know, you're gonna find Sam, he's gonna be our killer.
However, investigators would soon find out that there was even more than to this story. Blazing back to 8 years earlier, in 2002, the then 18-year-old Sam Herr was accused of another grievous wrongdoing. He was blamed for partaking, alongside 17 different people, in the cutting and beating passing of 19 years of age Byron Benito in Canyon Country. Supposedly, the evening of January 15, 2002, Sam, who had been friends with Benito since youth, picked Benito up from his home, led his unsuspecting friend to an area behind a mobile home park where he was gone after and killed by a group of suspected gang members. He was accused of homicide. Eventually, he was absolved of those charges. Yet, that didn't change the doubt in that frame of mind of the agents. In spite of the fact that Sam's family didn't have faith in his culpability, investigators were basically 100% sure that they were after the right person. As Sam was prepared to utilize guns, they considered him equipped and perilous, and on the run. Accepting that they had a risky executioner running free, investigators put an APB out for Sam. In the meantime, the Costa Mesa police started observing Sam's phone and card operations, trying to find him. Cops got data that there had been 4 withdrawals produced using ATMs in the day's registration vanishing. His credit card was likewise utilized at a pizza place in Long Beach, California, only 20 miles from Sam's home. Police expected to see Sam on the reconnaissance cameras, yet when the bank sent them footage from the ATM cameras, they couldn't really believe that whom they were seeing. It was a young person, wearing a hoodie and a cap, pulling out cash from Sam's financial balance. Neither police nor Sam's parents had the option to recognize the youngster. Investigators presumed that he was in all likelihood helping Sam, either to move away or to stow away. One way or the other, Costa Mesa police were frantic to find him. On May 26, 2010, they got data that his credit card had been used at another pizza delivery. What's more, they set about following the delivery driver. Subsequent to getting the delivery address from him, police made a beeline for the location to secure Sam, feeling that they'd at long last found his hideaway spot. At the point when police raged the house hoping to track down Sam, they rather found 17 years of age Wesley Freilich alongside a portion of his friends. Although suspected earlier, authorities almost immediately ruled out Wesley as a suspect. Be that as it may, he did in any case have Sam's credit card. The teen portrayed a stunning story that investigators were not expecting to hear. He was, as a matter of fact, given the credit card with full guidelines to pull out cash. In any case, it was not by Sam. He didn't actually know Sam. Daniel Wozniak, a nearby theater entertainer whom Wesley met through local area theater, had given him the credit card. Wozniak let Wesley know that he was a bail bondsman and expected to gather cash Sam owed. Maybe some other individual would have declined it, however, as Wesley admired Wozniak, his older brother. Without understanding the weightiness of the circumstance, the 17-year-old kid consented to help. In total, $1,900 was withdrawn from the account. The name Daniel Wozniak rang a bell for investigators as they'd tracked down an invitation to his upcoming wedding in Sam's apartment. In any case, who was this Daniel Wozniak? Furthermore, what was his association from Sam's perspective? Did he assist Sam with moving away? Or on the other hand, would he say he was an associate to the actual homicide? 38 years of age Daniel Patrick Wozniak was brought into the world on March 23, 1984, as a youngest of 3 boys. Daniel invested a great deal of energy with his grandparents after school because of his parents' long work hours. Dan experienced childhood in an extravagant home, and the family frequently took expensive vacations. He was depicted as a decent youngster in school, who for the most part got excellent grades. He used jokes, singing, dancing to get attention from the people. He wanted to be the focal point of consideration. Understanding that he had a characteristic ability for show, Daniel began acting and singing in musicals in his mid-20s. He was pretty casual about his plans for the future. He would never hold a task for a really long time, which constrained him to move from one occupation to another with extremely low compensation. Nonetheless, as years passed, he saved his enthusiasm for acting alive and kept on working in theater. It was here, in one of his musicals, that he tracked down the woman of his dreams, a fellow actress. After momentarily dating, they chose to wed. On May 26, 2010, when police found Wozniak, he was partaking in his bachelor party in Huntington Beach, California. Yet, how is Daniel Wozniak connected to Sam Herr? As it ended up, he resided in a similar apartment building where Sam resided, expecting that Wozniak had either helped Sam escape or stow away, or had been complicit in Julie's homicide. Police burst into the bachelor party of Wozniak with an arrest warrant. The blood drained from his face when he saw the police, leading the detectives to believe that he knew more than he was letting on. Police arrested him for questioning. In the cross-interrogation room, at first Wozniak asserted that his only crime was participating credit card fraud and covering for Sam. He further let the investigators know that he and Sam devised a strategy to take out all of his cash from his financial balance with the assistance of Wesley and then claim credit card theft. However, Daniel guaranteed before they could do the arrangement, Sam made a stunning admission. He added that after this admission, he dropped Sam off at a nearby retail plaza and had not seen him since. In any case, detectives accepted he was all the while covering for Sam and that he had more involvement in Julie's murder than he told the investigators. In this way, investigators attempted an alternate strategy. They took a DNA swab from Daniel, a strategy that made Daniel nervous. He attempted to gather his composure, yet detectives could perceive there was an off-base thing. Very quickly, he began to add more details to the story.
Tell me about the Sam incident and what you did.
I told him that I needed to move some stuff from the theater. I said, you need to bend down and help me lift this thing up. And when he bent down, I grabbed the gun. I never really fired the gun before, so I pulled it back and I shot him.
Detectives understood that Wozniak was anxious that his DNA would appear at Sam's apartment, in spite of the fact that he attempted to say something else. Breaking under tension, he continued to change his story. After a long respite, Wozniak said that he had some awareness of Julie's homicide and he assisted him with moving away. At the point when analysts advised him that they had his DNA, he consoled them that it wouldn't appear on Julie's body. He was all the while clutching the way that he didn't have anything to do with the homicide. Investigators were expecting that Wozniak would uncover more subtleties when he unexpectedly decided he was done with interview. But with so much at stake, detectives could not let him go easily without knowing the full details. They told Wozniak that he'd be arrested for the accessory to murder charge if he did not come clean and give them full details. Wozniak had a lot at stake too. He had a wedding scheduled in just 48 hours, and he did not want to miss it. Under tension, Wozniak began to disintegrate. The story once more changed a little, seeing that Wozniak was going to break. Investigators rushed the cycle by feigning about the DNA. Albeit in all actuality, DNA test results wouldn't be back for a really long time. Analysts guaranteed his DNA was tracked down on Julie's body. Amazingly, he didn't fight the case. He rather said his DNA was on Julie's body since he was standing directly over her body. It just so happens, Wozniak was not as great of an entertainer in the cross-interrogation room as he was on the stage. As his untruths self-destructed, he dropped one more sensation. This was a significant warning for the investigators in light of the fact that only one shot injury was noticeable to the specialists at the crime location. Just later, when an examination was performed, was it uncovered that there was a subsequent gunfire wound. This admission from Wozniak implied that he'd been there when she was killed, which made him an associate in the homicide, and investigators could now formally arrest him. However, despite the fact that Wozniak was in authority, investigators actually needed to track down Sam, and Daniel wouldn't talk. While investigators were looking for any signs that could lead them to Sam Herr, sitting behind bars, Wozniak called his life partner, Rachel Buffett. Regardless of whether Wozniak realized those discussions were being recorded, he was going to get found out in his own snare of untruths. As Rachel chose freedom over love, she let him know that she planned to call detectives with more data. Wozniak realized he needed to converse with the investigators before Rachel could. Unexpectedly, he was in a frenzy, frantic to hammer out the agreement with the investigators that he declined just a short time previously. In any case, everything that he said to the investigators this time was past their creative mind. Interestingly, Wozniak was prepared to separate the timetable of his devilish homicide plan, what began with a simple favor from a friend. On the fateful day of May 21st, 2010, Wozniak asked Sam, who thought of him as a good friend, to assist with moving a few boxes at the Los Alamitos Theater attic in local military base. While Sam was in the middle of moving the boxes in the attic in a knelt-down position with Wozniak, the cold-blooded monster pulled out a gun and shot him in the head once. At first, Sam never knew what hit him. In the wake of acknowledging he'd been shot, he asked Wozniak to help him. Decisively, this merciless killer reloaded his gun and shot him a second time, killing him instantly. After killing Sam, he was still not finished. In a cold and made way, he did the unthinkable by messaging Julie from Sam's phone and inviting her to Sam's apartment. In the highest level of hardness, he left Sam's body in the accent and went to play out his play, giggling, singing, moving, as though he didn't simply kill a guiltless man and draw one more to a similar destiny. Later in the evening, Wozniak slipped into Sam's apartment, and when Julie was inside the apartment, he shot her twice in the head. He then, at that point, arranged the crime location to make it seem to be Sam escaped in the wake of attacking and killing Julie in Sam's apartment. In any case, he actually expected to ensure that nobody tracked down Sam. In urgency, he continued to commit perhaps of the absolute most debased act. He got back to the accent and dismembered Sam's hands and head, trying to conceal the body. He disposed of them at the nearby park. Once more yet, even after these shocking demonstrations, seemingly without a care in the world, Wozniak got back to the theater. In a few cast party photographs detectives gathered later, he should be visible chuckling and messed with different individuals. Be that as it may, maybe, the motive remains even more twisted than the murder themselves. Everything boiled down to money.
The motive behind killing Sam was?
Money and insanity.
Money and insanity, okay?
Wozniak generally struggled with money and maintaining employment. At the hour of the killings, he was behind 2 months in rent, on the verge of getting evicted. Moreover, he had absolutely no chance of paying for the wedding or vacation he'd planned. What's more, that is the point at which he learned of the $62,000 Sam had in his bank account for his time served in the military. He killed 2 individuals without blinking so he could have a wedding and partake in a costly vacation. If the confession was not enough, police found the evidence bag that Rachel discussed on the phone with Wozniak, thanks to Wozniak's brother Tim. Tim had directions to get rid of the bag, however he rather tossed it over the fence at his parents' house. That bag was loaded up with implicating proof, including Sam Bunny's monetary subtleties, identification, his horrendous garments, and generally cursing of all, the murder weapon. Wozniak's DNA was all around the things, recommending that he and he alone dedicated the twofold murder.
It was a cornucopia of evidence. I mean, DNA, expended shell casings, the victim's financial information. It's everything a prosecutor could ever want, and of course that also led us to the murder weapon itself.
On December 16, 2015, toward the finish of his preliminary, which endured only 5 days, Wozniak was seen as at fault for 2 counts of first-degree murder. On January 11, 2016, after only 1 hour of pondering, in what's portrayed as one of the most brief capital punishment thoughts, the jury prescribed capital punishment to an extremely meriting Daniel Wozniak. On September 23, 2016, the appointed authority condemned him to death. Criminal investigators found years after the fact that Wozniak's previous life partner, Rachel Buffett, realized about the homicide plots, yet she'd been underhanded to the detectives. However, she denied this large number of claims. She was captured and accused of 3 crime counts of frill sometime later, in light of charges that she'd lied on various occasions to police investigators. On September 12, 2018, she was indicted on 2 for those counts with a maximum possible sentence of 44 months, and on November 8, 2018, was sentenced to 32 months in the prison. She was set free from prison at some point in 2019. Life grabbed away from 2 honest persons. Life was obliterated for their relatives. And all of this to make sure one insane person could have his fantasy wedding. The main conclusion that the families can get from this is that this beast is spending his last days where he can't hurt any other person. Share your contemplations on this terrible case in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for additional stories like this.